together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, morning. Happy Thursday. Happy Sober Thursday. We are here. We are live. We are not awake. And it's too hot in here. I may have to grab a fan. All right. Having a cat on my lap certainly doesn't help. Certainly doesn't help. Let me grab a fan. Ciao, kitties. All right. I don't know what it is about this house, but in order to have heat down here, because it's nice out, but the heat doesn't get down here. And I'd usually be okay, but I'm on blood thinners and I'm 54. And heck, I'm putting arthritis cream on my finger right now because it kind of helps. I think it's dislocated. I'm going to the doctor. It's been this way for like 6 months. I was hoping to get better, but it did not. Well, you're in Michigan. I'm good morning, Heather. Heather says, hot snow in Michigan again this morning. What happened to spring? Yeah. Well, all I can say is I'm glad I'm not in Michigan. I'm tired of the snow. I'm tired of it. You need time? Time. I need time. The time is 8:46. That's not what she was asking for, though. Oh. Today, we're going to be talking about change. It's from the Daily Reflection. I just kind of changed the name to fit what I'd be talking about. The title is called Growing Up. And it leads to As Bill Sees It. And the title there is Essence of Growth. But there's a lot of changes going on out there right now. And sorry, I need this towel for a second. Because I put this stuff on my finger, but then it gets all sticky. I don't know if it's an OCD thing or whatever. I don't like shit on my hands. It's weird. You need time or somebody won't get a custom chip. I love it when I'm bribed. Oh, I'll put it off as long as I can. I'll put it off as long as I can. I'm going through changes. It's a song by Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne wrote it, and it's about alcohol. It's about getting sober. Yeah, the song is about getting sober. She was my woman. I loved her so, but it's too late now. I've let her go. Yes. Change is hard. And I'm not talking about the changes in the world right now. We're talking about long lines of becoming different people. I do believe that people can change. Of course, if somebody already has a good set of morals, well, gosh, they probably don't really need to change, do they? But we alcoholics need something. Hold on. What are you doing? God. Fucking assholes, yo. That would be a Dennis Leary, not Dennis Leary. Yeah, Dennis Leary. He had a song called I'm an Asshole. Yeah. All right. I put off as long as I can. I'm sure some people want to hear me run my mouth a little bit about changing. We must not fear it. We must not resist it. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm a changed alcoholic. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I've changed. And it's a much better way than the way it was. I can tell you that. Welcome. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Not required to, of course. The way that we work things here is you get to decide your level of anonymity. I do not mind recovering out loud. The stigma does not bother me. Name calling doesn't bother me. The only thing that really seems to bother me when I do this is when people come on and peddle their mushrooms. And now that I said it, there'll probably be one today. They really backed off from me, though. There's just no point in doing it here. It's a waste of your time. Hold on. Hey, you know what? Stop causing trouble. Don't make my life harder, cat. Not that anything's going to happen. What am I going to do? Not pet his cute little butt? Now he's messing with the other cat. Okay. Might get a little loud. Bastion, stop it. He knows his name. One cat. I have 4 cats. Sawyer knows his name. Bastion knows his name. His name's Sebastian. Ronan does not know his name, but he thinks his name is Kitty. And he'll probably show up now that I said that. No, he's standing over there. And then I have another one, Jack, and he thinks his name is. So they all know their names in a way. Right? All right. And he was begging for attention. Okay. Now he's doing something else now. Okay. Now that we've talked about my cats, as I so often do, let's get started. Essence of growth. Let us never fear needed change. Where are there some things that I needed to change? Well, I needed to change my perception of how this life worked. I needed to change my attitude for sure. Yeah. Even nowadays, sometimes I need to work on changing my attitude. The question here is, I love the tie-dye. Is it an Amber creation? Yes, it is. Amber made me this shirt. I'll stand up a little bit so you can see it, right? But if you look, it's a spider. It's my Spider-Man shirt. It's a tie-dye Spider-Man shirt. So, because Spider-Man's one of my favorite superheroes. If I had to pick a Marvel, it would be Spider-Man. If I would have to pick a DC, I don't know. After the Flash movie, I'm a kind of a Flash fan, man. But it would have to be Batman. Yeah, Batman. I'm Batman. That's why last week I wanted vengeance. I thought I was being Batman. Amber says, chaired my home group last night. Mr. and the person I'm sharing the chair with fucking killed it, and we got shit done. Extra GC over the last month, which is group conscious. Life is good when shit gets done in the home group. Yeah. Making progress, more change. Groups need to change. We cannot be the same. AA has got to be malleable. I don't know about anywhere else, but in the United States, all recovery funding has been cut. I'm not going to go into that portion, but I am going to say that AA is free and simple. Recovery is always free and simple. And it is that way so that we can focus on being malleable, on being open minded. At the moment, AA should not really be geared towards Gen Xers or I don't know the order that it goes, millennials, maybe, but it should be geared towards Gen Z and the people that are in their 20s. In their 20s. That would be good, Amber. I am severely lacking on different shirts. And considering how much I go live, I know people probably, I know in their minds, because I would do it too. Didn't he just wear that fucking shirt? Mainly, I just don't want you to think I'm not showering. That's why my hair's short. If you go back to some of those videos, my hair is pretty long, but I need it changed. I like it short. I do think I like it long too. When it's long, I look like an 80 metals rock star, man. And I have nice pretty hair. But it's curly and people want to touch it. And I also don't have the patience to keep up on it. So now that we've also talked about Dion's pretty hair, it's what we do here. See, this is where my ADHD comes in and works for me. Yes, I use my mental illnesses to make things a little bit better. A little bit better. Amber says next shirt might have Batman logo. Woohoo! Yay! What I need to do is start collecting shirts that have like recovery sayings and stuff on them. I'd love to get to a point where it's like I'm just going to make up a name, like maybe some company is called I Am Sober, and they're going to pay me $10 to announce their name during the show. That would be cool. See, I've always wanted this to be sponsored. That way I could still kind of get paid, but I'm not asking it from you. But that would kind of be breaking tradition. You know what? Just do what you're going to fucking do, Kat. I don't even care. Just don't take down that sheet. They want out that window. And maybe I'll get back to that today. All right. So let us never fear needed change. What other things do I need to change? Well, I need to get off the hooch. I need to work on my anger. Man, there's a lot of things that need to change. In fact, when you get into AA, you might hear something like this. You only need to change one thing. Everything. That's not entirely true. There are some great things about you that we're going to keep and we're going to build on. That is change also. Right. Certainly, we have to discriminate between changes for worse and changes for better. This is where your intuition comes in. You know, I found out about alcoholics. We have fantastic intuition. It's just that I never listened to it. I was listening to my brain because I thought my brain was the end and the beginning of everything. It was the Big Bang. Just so you know, Jim Parsons never watched Star Trek or Star Wars. He doesn't even like those shows. Just so you know. Anyway, great actor though. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of every actor on that show, actually. Especially the lady that played, and I forget her name. That played his Jim Parsons' girlfriend. She's a big supporter of recovery. I believe that she's an Al-Anon. I forget her name. Starts with an M. Anyway. But once a need becomes clearly apparent in an individual, in a group, or as AA as a whole, it has long since been found out that we cannot stand still and look the other way. Oh, when that precious newcomer comes into the meeting, Oh, we love our newcomers, don't we? Absolutely, we do. We tout on our newcomers so much that we need to tell them, hey, it may feel like we're picking on you because we are, because we love you, because we understand where you're coming from, and we want you to be part of this group. Could you and just remember back to when you came into AA and how much love you received, and I would, I give a lot of shit about other meetings and stuff, but that is one constant that I see in AA is that we tout upon the newcomer. We love them so much that we will change right in front of them so they can see what a good example can be, so that they know that the needed change that needs to happen can be accomplished, that it can be done. Yeah. Kind of silly when we hear people say, well, I only have 30 days, right? They're going to hear from the group. You say, I only have, even if you say, I only have 1 day, we're still going to say, no, you have a day. And that to us, to every single person in that room, it is a big deal. What I don't like hearing, although it's kind of true, so this is this is just Dion's problem. Hearing people say, you remind me that it still doesn't work out there. I mean, that is partially true. Probably not something I'd say to somebody, but that's me. And some people may need to hear that. I don't know. I'm not God. I'm not God. Right? So change really comes by example. But when we see something, we cannot use the serenity prayer to avoid change. Can you change people, places, and things? The quick answer is no. But the right answer is kinda. I'm helping make changes. They're slow, they're steady. And no, I cannot change people, but I can help change places and things by recovering out loud. Amber, I think you hit it. Amber says, we need the newcomers so we feel useful. I would absolutely agree with that. Not to remember it doesn't work. Yeah. All I have to see, that's the thing is they don't remind me that it doesn't work out there. What I see is a human being that needs my help. That's what I see. I already know it doesn't work out there. I proved that to myself. So, and I just can't use somebody else's demise to make me feel better about me. That is emotional sobriety. So thank you, Amber. We have to use it or we lose it. That's right. Can't use it if there's no one to be service to. That's right. Yes, it is. Amber's on a roll. Hey, Amber, let's just switch the camera. Why don't you take on over? You're on a bigger roll than I am. Of course, that's your comfort zone. If you came on camera, you'd be like, I don't know what to say. That's always what happens. All right. I'm pretty grateful today. The fact that I'm just feeling so much love and support from the people around me. I am. So, all right. My finger hurts really bad, but now it feels a little bit better. Says should I put my arthritis medicine on? It's not arthritis though. If anything, they make me want to drink. She's joking, folks. All right. This part is let me show you the solution so I don't have to listen to your pity part anymore. I'm selfish as fuck. Yeah. That's the thing is the beginning can be tough because when a newcomer comes in, they don't have experience, strength, and hope. They have problems. A lot of problems. Camera doesn't bug me since I do Zoom meetings and Zoom therapy. That's true. And you've been on camera with me plenty of times. You know, we've done a couple of podcasts. Maybe we should do another one, Amber. Those turn out really well. You know who needs to do a podcast? You and my daughter. It would be off the fucking chain. Wouldn't matter what the topic is. You two are so much alike. So, all right, more reading here. So we can't stand still and look the other way, right? What are some of the changes in places that I'm making? So we're putting in the new detox, and now we're getting to the point where it's kind of fun because we're figuring out what's going to be best for the client, right? And since we're having to move into a new stage, and I'm not going to explain it, it's very clinical and probably very boring to you. If you'd like to know, reach out to me personally. I'll explain what the different types of detoxes are and things, you know, things like that, right? But at this new detox, what's going to happen is, let's say you've been living on the street for weeks. Maybe you haven't had a chance to tidy up. One of the first things that we're going to do is let you go take a shower, get tidied up, and give you a new set of clothes. Brand new set of clothes. They're yours. They're yours now. Little things like that make people feel like a human being, like they actually mean something to us. Now, we don't coddle them, but we do need to show them the respect that they are a human being, that they are not below us. That's a needed change. And it will work. It will help people open up. I give them a week, maybe 2 to sit in the shit. If they don't want it, I can't force them. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to waste our time on somebody that isn't willing to do the work. We're not trying to be mean, and we are there and we stand ready for when you are ready to do the work. But some people just haven't found their bottom yet. Maybe they got something happened. They got kicked out of the house. Sober living is their only option. Sober living requires them to go to AA meetings and get a sponsor, but they're only doing that for survival. It does happen. So what are we going to do in that case? Well, we're going to plant the seed. We're going to plant a seed. I'm going to ruin your drinking career. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make it so that every time you drink, the words in your head are mine. And it'll help them get there a little bit quicker. Okay. I know it sounds mean, but we call this kicking a man while he's down. That's the line. Kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down. Kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down. Don Henley song. Is it Don Henley? Yeah, I think Don Henley does that one. All right. All right. The essence of all growth is a willingness to change for the better. Willingness. Probably one of the most important skills, one of the most important tools. Willingness is the first tool that you get in your spiritual toolkit. And it is used in step 2 to open the door of willingness so that you may meet your higher power, a higher power of your understanding, of your choosing. There is no other program out there that allows for this freedom, and it works. Don Henley, thank you. Don Henley. He was one of the many singers of the Eagles. Right? This is his solo album. You probably figured out I really love music. Except I know a lot of music except for the newer stuff. I'll just have to admit. Like if you put on a Taylor Swift song, I wouldn't know it was her. You put on a Beyonce song, I ain't gonna know it's her. I know who they are, but that's about the extent of it. Right. I'm fortunate. I got to send a message yesterday and they replied to me, but I'm not this overly anyway. My favorite drummer, Chad Gracie, he was the drummer for Live. Right. Anyway, Cool dude, too. Cool dude. All right. So to change for the better and then an unremitting willingness to shoulder whatever responsibility this entails. I am responsible when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA always to be there. And for that, I am responsible. Now, that was created for the professionals so that we would work with professionals. But it's become so much more, hasn't it? Maybe I see somebody flailing around, having a hard time, even in public. I can't stand these videos where they show somebody having a mental breakdown on the side of the road and everybody's got their cameras out, laughing and pointing. Well, look at them. Ha, ha, ha. What goes through my mind is, but for the grace of God, go I. That's me. I've been there before. I have been that person on the side of the road screaming and yelling at the world. I have, in a literal sense. In fact, I was at an AA conference off of I-70 in Quebec in Colorado. I think I was like 4 or 5 years sober. See, I don't need alcohol to be crazy. I don't need it. And that's not bragging. That's a change that needed to be made. See, I hadn't grown up. I was very childish for a very long time. I still kind of am. It's something that I've accepted about myself, that there's still a part of me that hasn't entirely grown up yet. Just hasn't. I'll tell you now, I walk through a Toys R Us and it says press this button and it's red. I'm pressing it. I'm pressing it. I can't help myself. It must be pressed. Now, if the button says do not press, I'm going to press it twice. Tell me what to do. Don't leave me in charge of the missiles. Don't leave me in charge with them. All right. I know someone that was that person on the side of the road. It was PTSD trigger from Iraq fucking war, not drugs, not alcohol. Yeah. Yeah. And it sucks. It's sad. It's sad. I feel for those people. I really do, especially in, I denied my PTSD for a long time. Like, don't you put down those people that go to war for me and gave me my freedom. I feel deeply about that. Why? Because I love my fucking freedom. I love it. And it is a privilege to live in America and be free. I'm going to tell you that. Okay. And the people in our armed forces, our police officers, those people that keep us safe, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love my freedom. Thank you for giving me, the right to be able to say what it is that I want to say out loud. So, all right. Amber says, when the fuck you walk through a Toys R Us lately? Yeah, in my dreams. In my dreams, it's still the same. Telling you, songs rush through my head all the time. Yeah. They're talking about bringing Toys R Us back. And we lost Toys R Us because a conglomeration wanted the real estate. It was done on purpose to make money. Pretty sad because I don't know of anybody in America. Toys R Us was the landing place. It didn't matter who you are. We just went there and had fun. And we need that. And, there's no people are just running around riding on bikes, playing with toys, and it's everyone. Toys R Us was a great meeting place. All right. Anyway, I digress. The good old days. Okay. There's nothing wrong with thinking about the good old days, but I would challenge you to make more good old days. Yeah. Every day is another chance that I have at making my little area of Earth a little bit better. A little bit better. I've been doing that for years, and now, just like how little things kill, little things build. See that? That's another change that I made. Right? Amber says, shit going down in my town. Board members, one of whom just assaulted her neighbor, just fired the chief of police over personal vendetta. That's one of the things I don't like about small towns. Amber lives in a small town. But what I'm glad to hear, Amber, is that you're getting involved. Maybe the council and the board need somebody like you. Who knows? Virgos quite often take. So all recorded for the public to watch. There we go. The chief was good for the town. Well, just fired does the board assign the chief of police? That would be the question. I don't know. But to remove a chief of police for any town, no matter how big, is a big deal. It is. So I'll tell you what's going on. Everybody's running around because they want their money, and it was all taken away. It has not affected me at all. Yeah. So you're running around scared. They don't want to get caught. I'm telling. It's what a lot of people in Colorado are doing right now. That they're reviewing everything, and they are they don't want to get caught. They don't want to lose their precious money, or they won't be able to live the lifestyle they want to live. Amber says they need Scott, not me. That's her long-standing boyfriend, not her husband. Her long-standing boyfriend. Yeah, probably. Well, we'll volunteer him. You are his wife, so you can do that. All right, let's get to the reading here. Sometimes when I've become willing to do what I should have been doing all along, I want praise and recognition. When I'm working with a new person, they it's always the same. Dion, I feel so bad. I feel a lot of shame. There's blame, there's guilt, there's remorse, and deep feelings. And these feelings are valid. They're very, very valid. Not quite fact, almost fact, close to it. Okay. And I give them the same speech that my sponsor gave me. Okay, Dion. The thing is I know that you want to go in there and tell your wife how sorry you are. You're feeling better. You're doing a little bit better. But what you're not going to do is that, because you're going to fuck it up. You don't know how to do it yet. And amends does not include the word sorry. So you don't have what you need. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a living amends. And that means you're going to become a better person each day. It means that you're going to go, now that you have all this energy and time because you're not drinking, you're going to go in and clean the damn house, Dion. Go do the dishes. Take out the trash like you're supposed to. Even to this day, the trash is not her job. It's my job. Actually, I do all the house cleaning. Right? But she brings in the money. I do all the house cleaning. That's how it works, man. If she cooks, I clean. If I cook, she cleans. That's how we do things, right? Okay, but that's not the point I'm trying to get to. He said, then you're going to feel this need to have recognition for taking out the trash. Dion, we do not get recognition for taking out the trash. It is a responsibility of yours. And that was the part. He's like, don't go around. And she'd come home. Place looks nice. That's all I would get. And I'd have to be okay with that. The only reason it looks like nice now is because it was a fucking mess, Dion, and you shouldn't have let it get there. So we can't take recognition. We can't take credit for these things. Because without a higher power, credit goes to God, man. And then God will give you whatever is needed for that. But if you go running around saying, hey, look how high I can jump, there's your gift. The gift from God will not come because humility was not applied. So pick your gift. I tell you right now, God's going to have a better gift for you than the one that you think you should need. It's been my experience. I don't realize that the more I'm willing to act differently, the more exciting my life is. Yeah, I don't know that I want my life all that exciting. I'm a little bit older. I want balance. I'd rather have serenity than excitement. In fact, the thought of serenity excites me. Just a little play on words to have fun. All right. The more I'm willing to help others, the more rewards I receive. That's what practicing the principle means to me. Fun and benefits for me are in the willingness to do the actions, not to get immediate results. We live in what I like to call the microwave age. Everybody wants everything on an instant minute. Calm down, slow down a little bit, especially you ADHDers. Slow down, quit running into shit. Watch where you're walking. Being a little kinder, a little slower to anger, a little loving makes my life better day by day. Step by step. Yeah, it's funny. We used to have this band called Milli Vanilli. Right? And they were huge. They were a huge pop duo until we found out that they were not singing. They were lip syncing. They weren't even the singers. They were lip syncing the whole time. And everybody got pissed. They took away their Grammys. They took away. Now we actually have competitions for air guitar and lip syncing. I shouldn't laugh. It became so bad. One of the guys committed suicide because it was just too much, so much hate. So probably actually not something great to laugh at. I just destroyed myself on that one, didn't I? All right, that's going to be it for today. Remember that change is good, but use that intuition to help you figure out whether it's a good change or a bad change. The principles are there. I hear a lot of people in the recovery community literally whining that the money was taken. They forgot to understand that their real reliance is upon God, not money. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And